Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
On my friends, what's happening? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, on today's convo, we're going to talk about the Florida, the redistricting happening in Florida right now. We spoken a little bit about it on the last show, but I did not have time to really expand and talk more on this story. I feel like I can relate to this because being a Virginia resident, right? Being, coming from the Commonwealth, where we just had a big, huge redistricting battle. I think the battle personally is still continuing, even though most of Virginians voted in favor, of the change in congressional maps. We now see other states taking part of it. Some of them are saying, nah, I don't want any part of this whole gerrymandering thing because I'm not a fan of of gerrymandering, so I'm not going to partake. There's some states that are saying, no, let's go ahead and start it because we don't know this administration, what they're capable of doing. They're reaching out to different states saying, hey, look, I need to gain some more congressional seats, help a brother out here, help a brother out. And so we're seeing this whole battle back and forth. So Florida is starting up, doing the same thing. In other news, SCOTUS recently announced removal of a right that's involved in the Voting Rights Act, which is a shame because the Voting Rights Act is so important, especially in our current climate. It's a shame that we have a Supreme Court that will that just wants to do things that benefits their political party. And it's just the Supreme Court does not represent all of the United States. I just want to put that out there. They're going to support strictly their political values and their own personal gains, and it's a disgrace. Also, Governor of Maine, Janet Mills, recently just announced that she will be suspending her Senate campaign, which leaves a great pathway for candidate Graham Plattner. Which, I mean, hey, Graham has been holding on because he was involved in some slight scandal with the tattoo of a swastika, which I believe he had said that he got that removed using certain slur. Like it was not helping. Like me personally, I still thought he should have dropped out the race. But look, Maine is sticking with them. So we'll see how that goes from there. Also, Meghan McCain, she's a former co-host of the ABC hit, I guess, top panel political show, The View. She's also the daughter of the late Republican Arizona senator, U.S. Senator John McCain, who also was a former presidential nominee, presidential candidate and nominee. She went on her podcast to talk more about her former, squad at The View, which it's really funny because I personally never cared for Meghan McCain. She's an annoying political commentator, but hey, she knows her stuff. Don't get me wrong. She comes from a line of prominent Republicans. She held her own on The View, being outnumbered, of course, but she held her own for, I believe, at least 4 years. I gotta look back because I could be wrong on that number, but she will always continue to use her platform to talk about her past show because, hey, the show is mostly anti-Republican show. It's an attack Republicans, attack, or attack the Trump administration. That's all they do. But she actually took a shot at the current conservative at the table, Alyssa Farah Griffith, who was a former staffer in the Trump administration, the first term of the Trump administration. She called her a joke. She called her like a fake conservative, basically. I'm just like, I always think it's funny when people define other folks' political political stances. I just think that's hilarious because who made you the gods of all Republicans into conservatism? And I know a true conservative when I see one, and you, ma'am, are not the conservative. Yes, this and that. I'm like, give me a break. So I'm gonna talk about that later on the show. Also, in sports / politics, right? Former NBA star turned actor Rick Fox, who is currently running for office in the Bahamas. He announced his run for the Bahamian House of Assembly, and so he is running. He ratified as the Free National Movement candidate, FNM, Free National Movement candidate, and he's running for office out there. And anyway, I bring that up because a viral video has surfaced around social media showing the former NBA star getting in a mean scuffle. No fists, no blows, but it was very, very close because, and this was at a political event, by the way, between different candidate teams and party teams, and it was intense. But not going to show the video because some graphic language on there. I wish I could, I really do, but again, we happen to be on other media outlets that we try to take away that kind of language. So that being said, I can't show the video, but I do have a video of Rick Fox speaking about it after that. And and also too, kind of staying in the sports realm, former NBA star, former Wizards great John Wall, it was announced that will be taking on a position at Howard University, which I think is dope. Congrats for John Wall. We'll talk a little more about that later on the show as well. Before we move forward, I always have to thank you all, the great people that are listeners of the Arrington Gavin Show that continue to support this program. Thank you. We are growing each and every day, my friends. I turn around, I'm like, wow, another subscriber here, another subscriber there. I mean, 2 today, 4 the next day, another. Like, look, every bit counts, and I just truly am grateful and appreciate the support. As you know, we drop new episodes weeknights every day, okay, Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The Arrington Gavin Show. You can also listen to us on the go, wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just to name a few. You can tune into The Arrington Gavin Show. In addition to that, you can also check out past episodes of The Arrington Gavin Show on the GOATverse TV app. That's right, the GOATverse TV app. If you are an Android user, you'll go to your Google Play Store and download the app. If you are an iPhone user, well, go to the App Store, download GOATverse TV. You can also download it on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV. And then also got to shout out our radio affiliates. If you happen to be in the Las Vegas area, be sure to turn your radio dial to KSHP 1400 AM and 107.1 FM or 107.1 FM. You can listen in to the Arrington Gavin Show Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time, only on KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. And then if you're not in Las Vegas and you happen to visit a city called Hotlanta, the metro Atlanta area, be sure to turn your radio dial to WDJY 99.1 FM, Straight Talk, where you can listen in weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to the Arrington Gavin Show. And then lastly, we're going to head over to Who Dat Nation, New Orleans, filled with so many great music, great culture, everything just beautiful in New Orleans. Turn your dial to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can listen in weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. And again, we just want to thank all of our affiliates. We are a growing a grassroots program, and we hope to continue to grow our audience even more outside of the digital space. I know a lot of folks are saying, why are you if digital space is growing, why are you also on talk radio stations? Well, at the end of the day, this is a passion, and it gets you involved with the community. It's let me tell you something. Talk radio is so important because you have so many different medias that is trying to prevent messages and voices and programs from showing. I mean, look at this, the look at on the cable circuit, right? There's starting to be people that are literally buying CBS News and could be CNN. I mean, they're buying the narrative. You have these elites that are buying the narrative, and it's a shame. But we have to continue to keep on, supporting independent media, local media. We need to continue to support. So that's that. I mentioned to subscribe to our YouTube channel again at the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, share with a family. If you're checking out this video currently, give us a thumbs up already before we get going. So, but give us a thumbs up. It helps with our algorithm. Leave us a comment, right? I truly appreciate it. Mostly good. I've received some bad comments, but it's okay. Hey, look, freedom of speech. I respect the amendments. You have the right to say what you want to say, and all that good stuff. What are we going to? Oh, I wanted to throw this at you before we head to our first commercial break. So remember on the I think it was a couple of, I forget which episode I discussed, but I mentioned to you all that Congress will be losing all four on the Republican side in Congress. They'll be losing all their four and only black representatives in the Republican side in the House in Congress. And so those men were John James out of Michigan, who is running for governor in Michigan. It's not looking too good in his favor, I'll just say, but he is running. You have Utah Congressman Burgess Owens, who had announced that he's not seeking re-election. He's saying it's time for the next generation, next representation. I think I've put in my time, and we're just gonna I'm gonna live happy in Utah. I'll be honest, didn't know there was a lot of black people in Utah. Just saying, never been to Utah. I have friends out there, but I've never been. Who else? Wesley Hunt out of Texas. Wesley Hunt thought he was qualified enough to run for senator out there, and he ran on the notion of he campaigned on new representation, right? Out with the old, in with the new, which I can respect that, because there is a lot of folks that have been in office 4 years. And I've shared it here on this show. There should be a term limit, and also just more conversation discussing the aging body that is in Congress and Senate, because I believe since January of this year, 5 people in Congress have passed away. Okay, and we have more people that is running for re-election that are well over in their 80s, high 80s. I mean, it's sad, but you had Wesley Hunt running for Senate, and he came in like dead last. He was third place at a far distance from his other 2 competitors. And so he's be finishing up his terms in Texas, and or excuse me, in Congress. And then you have Byron Donald, who's running for governor in the state of Florida. His chances are actually looking better out of all three of those folks I just mentioned. We will see. He's supported by Trump, but has his endorsements actually helped out some of these candidates? Not really. But the reason why I brought that up is because a reporter had ran into Wesley Hunt, or caught up with Wesley Hunt, and outside of the Capitol, and this is what Wesley Hunt had to say in regards to basically the Republican Party in Congress has absolutely no black representation. Here's Wesley Hunt here, congressman again, Republican congressman out of Texas.
There's been a lot of talk how there won't be any black Republican members in the new term.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Nothing. I don't understand how that's relevant.
Is it a problem like recruitment? Or
I don't think it's a problem with anything. I'm not here because I'm black. I am here because I'm qualified representative for Congressional District 38, and the American people choose who they want to choose. Yeah. And the one thing I don't want to get into is this game of race bait all day, every day. If there's 4, if there's 10, if there's none, what we are talking about is who is the best person that is best qualified to fill a seat, regardless of the way that they look. And I tell people this all the time till I'm blue in the face. I represent a white majority district that President Trump would have won by over 20 points, and I won by 25 points the last time I ran. I'm being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. I don't care how many black people are here. I want the most qualified people that are here.
And thank you. Oh, got it. Thank you, Harrison.
So that was very, very, like, he was quick on that. Thank you. I'm out of here. Now look, I will say this. I will give him props with that answer, because, well, there was some truth to it, right? We should vote on candidates based on if they're qualified and not always on the complexion of their skin, right? No, or not at all. Really, you should vote on their policies, their issues. That's how we should vote on candidates. So what he was saying as far as the representation piece, like I said, he made sense. He made sense. I couldn't disagree with saying who's the more qualified X, Y, and Z. I'm not mad at him. I don't disagree with that. I would say, though, if I was a representative from any party, Democrat or Republican, I would say this. If I walk out and I see a melting pot of folks, me personally, I do want to see more diversity in the workplace, in my place of work, because that's the world that we live in, is a melting pot. So, for example, I serve on a couple of boards, right? And there was a time, this is a long time ago, and it wasn't, I wasn't offended at all. The more you know, the more you grow. There was a moment when we were I think deciding when the next either meet, we were checking out our schedules for when we can meet up again for another board meeting. One of the dates that was brought up was Juneteenth. A member of the board was unaware of Juneteenth, completely like clueless of Juneteenth. And it was explained, and we all explained it, and it was to again, full disclosure, I'm the only black person on the board, not the only person of color. There's 2 people of color that's on the board, but I'm the only black person up there. And obviously Juneteenth really is a celebration holiday for people of of color, people, black people primarily. And so it wasn't bad that she didn't know. She was an older individual, but at the end of the day, you learn something. The more you know, the more you grow. You learn, okay, and then keep it moving from there. But I bring that up is because when you do not have a lot of diversity in the workplace, to me, it doesn't really, like, it keeps it in a small, like, okay, I mentioned earlier when it comes to politics, right? I'm not going to have a business that I'm only going to hire Democrats. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm not going to have a business that I only hire Republicans. I'm not going to have a business where I only hire Black people. I'm not going to have a business where I only hire Hispanic or Asian American, or you name it. Like, no, diversity is what helps build this country. This country is full of diversity in thought, voices, cultures, you name it. So for me, when I hear Wesley Hunt, run away and always get frustrated with, I hate all this race baiting and blah, 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 blah. I won 24 by 24 points in a district that is majority white and voted for Trump. And so when you bring up those stats, well, obviously you did pay attention at race, sir. So when we bring it up, you don't have to get so hesitant. No. And it's also funny because if you know how social media always comes with, the joking on these conservative, at least Black conservatives in office. Who would have thought, like, all four of these candidates, or not all four of these Black Republicans in Congress are all married to women that aren't Black. And I mean, look, I'm like, hey, love is love. Love is love. You marry who you want to marry. But it just is comical because, the coach is going to be like, and you over here like, oh, no, I am appalled that you even talk about race. And why do you have to talk about race? And this and that. Y'all need to, here's the thing. Race is is all related in America. Okay. When it comes to, Black History Month, I always say this: Black History Month is American history. So it really shouldn't be just celebrated in a month. It's a part of American history. But yet we have schools, in certain states in the United States that want to prohibit African American studies being taught in schools. They want to prevent students from learning all the history of what goes on in America. It's a shame, but that's the truth. That's what goes on. So I brought up that clip of Wesley Hunt because, again, Wesley Hunt, he has that very arrogant personality, but very sharp. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the suit game was real sharp. He's a West Point grad. I mean, very, very educated individual. I think majority of his family graduated from West Point. So kudos to him for being smart. But it was this smart response, smart answer of how he responded to that question. But yeah, at the end of the day, good luck, Wesley. Best of luck to you in your endeavors. I don't know if he's gonna run for office again, or he'll probably become, host a show or something. A lot of folks are, running away from politics and going more into the media space. I shared my example of the candidate out in California who's running for governor, Sheriff Chad Bianca. When I saw that first debate, I'm like, he seems like he's auditioning for to be a Fox News contributor or something like that, or just for a TV show. Like he was. I did not hear anything policy related in that debate. But friends, look, we're gonna take a commercial break here. Do not go anywhere. You listen to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new GoatVerse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
6'10", number 1 pick, 16 seasons, College Player of the Year, All-Rookie Standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
Welcome back, fam, to the show. Welcome. All right, so before we get going with some more politics here, I want to talk some sports. So former Wizard star John Wall, it was reported that he is joining Howard University as its president for basketball operations. Congrats to John Wall. Let's talk a little more about that. Let me pull up a picture of this article here for those who are watching. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So as you all know, John Wall, I think he retired after 11 years in the NBA. And look, great athlete. That's just actually, fun fact. So he and my brother-in-law were teammates out in University of Kentucky. I think he, along with like DeMarcus Cousins and all great athletes. Obviously UK, a major sports school, primarily basketball. They're known for basketball. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Ramon Harris. Shout out. But let me go ahead and read you this article here, reported by NBA.com. Let me go ahead. So for 9 seasons, John Wall was the main attraction in Washington, D.C. The former number 1 overall pick dazzled with Washington Wizards, making 5 All-Star games during his fantastic run with the team. After a few years away, Wall is ready to make his DC return. It won't come with the Wizards, however, it will come at Howard University, the historic HBCU. There's always a debate. Are they, the real HU, right? So I have family that is at Howard University, that graduated from Howard University, and that's currently at Howard. My niece will be she just finished her junior year at Howard University, and then we also have family that are graduates of Hampton University. So it's always the back and forth, the real HU, HU, we always hear it all the time in the fam. But after it says here, Wall's reportedly to join the HBCU as president of basketball operations, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. It will be a new challenge for Wall, who has worked as a broadcaster since leaving the NBA after the 2022-2023 season. Now, Wall doesn't have a ton of experience as a basketball executive, though he did push a stake in Southeast Melbourne, an NBL team in 2020. Wall does have a historic history of excellence in the sport. After starring at Kentucky for 1 year, Wall opted to enter the NBA draft, where the Wizards took him with the first overall pick. He was a star with the Wizards, averaging 19 points and 9 assists, 9.2 assists in 9 seasons with the team, but injuries did start to take a toll on him near the end of his tenure with the team. After playing in a combined of 73 games over the previous 2 seasons, Wall missed the entire 2019-2020 NBA season after undergoing multiple surgeries. He was then traded to the Houston Rockets the following year and appeared in 40 games. But at the end of the day, look, he did something that I've always said not a lot of folks can say they did, and he, competed on the highest level, 11 years, very well respected person in the league, hell of an athlete, and I'm excited to hear that once again an HBCU is continuing to bring in prominent names, prominent sports figures to their sports programs, because there's always a debate. Well, big time sports school, that's the school you want to go to when you play a sport. You want to become a star in your high school and you want to sign with the PWI. Don't ignore, skip over the HBCUs. They're not going to give you any money. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to get drafted. You're not going to do this and that. But there's starting to be more and more attraction, more and more eyes, more and more attention being brought to HBCUs. So I'm excited about this, and this is a good way to grow someone in their career as a sports executive, because again, John Wall, will love to say, okay, look, I did the experience here at Howard University. I'll do some time here, and then you never know, maybe the Wizards might say, hey, look, John, what do you think about joining us for this? That happens. That happens. So again, I want to congratulate John Wall on receiving this great honor. Again, Howard University, prominent school out in DC. More in the sports news. Now, this is not really a good story, but it is something to share with you all. So, former NBA star, Rick Fox. Rick Fox is a former Laker. He played, how long did he play in the NBA? He played for a long time in the NBA. After that, he then went on to become an actor, starring in a few TV projects and films. I know he was on Desperate Housewives. He was on The Game. He was, matter of fact, no, he wasn't in the movie. He starred in a Tyler Perry movie, Meet the Browns, along with Angela Bassett. Bam, there we go. See, your boy knows his history. He knows his history. Anyway, fast forward to all that. He is a Bahamian Canadian citizen. He lives currently lives in the Bahamas, but he's also running for office in the Bahamas. He announced in November of 2025 his intentions to run for a seat in the Bahamian House of Assembly in the next general election that was due to be held in May of, actually, it's going to be pretty soon. It says here now in February of 2026, he was ratified as the FNW, the Free National Movement candidate for the Garden Hills. For Garden Hills. After months of public criticism of both major parties, and at times suggesting he might run as an independent, days later, the Prime Minister said Fox had sought a nomination from the governing Progressive Liberal Party shortly before joining the Free National Movement. Anyways, I bring all this up, and I'll talk a little more about this on another time, but I bring all this up is because he was about to come to blows big time with an individual from it was at a campaign event, matter of fact. And so let me go ahead and at least let you hear from Mr. Fox's mouth on what had occurred, and then I'll talk a little bit about it because I pulled up an article here in relation to that.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that came out, and thankfully, the police presence has been great. It was great yesterday and great today. They held the peace for us. The individual that was being belligerent and swearing and threatening people's lives, threatened my campaign manager's life, threatened my life, was charged. The police officers pulled him away. So that context is not in that video. But I will tell you, some people are used to at this time of year being bullies. And we're not standing for that. We're not standing for that. And if you're going to swear and threaten people's lives and say you're going to your car to get something, then I'm going to react. I'm going to defend my team. I'm going to defend myself. And I'm going to defend anybody that is in the area, quite frankly, because that was a dangerous situation. The police got on the scene and they handled that, and that gentleman has been charged.
So that gentleman has been charged. You heard it right there. That gentleman has been charged. So let me exactly share what occurred So here we go. Let me go ahead and kind of clear some space there. So here's what had happened. There was a dispute between the two over at a campaign event. Says here he claims death threats were hurled at him and his manager over a tent. Okay. Chaotic scene was caught on video. Fox, who again running for office in the Bahamas, and Carl Bethett in a dispute with a man over the placement of their campaign hub. At one point, they're told they gotta move their tent elsewhere, and when Fox asked a question about the guidelines in place, someone clapped back with an aggressive comment saying, "I don't give a F about no rules." And that right there quickly triggered Fox. He was like, now Fox is very much still in basketball shape and basketball size. He's like damn near 6'9", 6'10". Like he's a big guy. That's when Fox lunged at the speaker and Bethel had to hold him back. The NBA champ then shoved his manager, telling him to get off of him. And see, that's when I kind of have an issue, because I've had times where, and this is just, I mean, I really have this, but like if I'm trying to hold somebody back from making a fool out of themselves or having a bad look, especially if that's your manager, and I'm doing everything I can to make, represent you and to help and you say me, push off me and get off, then we gonna be fighting. That's how I'm triggered. I get triggered like that, because don't push me when I'm trying to help you out, brother. Like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, Fox was clearly worked up, going right in front of the camera, recording it all and giving a flex, saying, "Right here for y'all all day long." It's a pretty messy video. So obviously they reached out to Fox clarifying, and this article I'm reading here is by TMZ, but I shared the video of one of the media outlets out in the Bahamas that wanted to get a comment from Rick Fox. The opposition party that is in power are notorious for victimizing and bullying Bahamians. That's coming from Rick Fox. He said, "But I've been standing up to them in this video. My campaign's manager's life was threatened, and so was mine by someone on their party as we are advancing as we are advanced poll voting." So he said, "I stood up to bully, no different than my basketball career when I was the enforcer. Someone threatens a teammate's life or threatens my life, I will defend to the death if necessary." Woo! I mean, that's a good comment right there, especially for somebody running for office. I will defend to the death if necessary. Clap it up, y'all. Clap it up for Rick Fox. Best of luck on his campaign too in the Bahamas. I was just talking to a friend of mine today about the Bahamas, because it's been a long time since I've been. It's been a long time just vacation in a tropical climate, and my wife and I, we have close friends that are from the Bahamas, and it'll be nice to maybe go and take a quick trip there. And you never know, maybe try and get an interview of Mr. Fox and all that good stuff. So yeah, hopefully no one tries to piss him off anymore, because like I said, he's a big guy and he got angry pretty quick. Okay, friends, we're gonna digress from this story. I want to move on to some more important stuff here. SCOTUS, Supreme Court, recently had announced that they were weakening the Voting Rights Act and aids GOP efforts to control the House. So let me go ahead and read you this article from the Associated Press, because I'm looking at my time and I really want to discuss at least between that and the voting. Oh, let me see. Let me come out of this real quick, y'all. Hold on real quick. I think I might have at least I thought I did. Okay, yes, I did. Hold tight, because I actually do have a video clip that I want to share as an introduction to this topic here. So hold tight. All right, here we go.
The Supreme Court has struck down Louisiana's second majority black congressional district in a decision that could open the door for Republican-led states to eliminate Black and Latino electoral districts that tend to favor Democrats. The decision was an about-face for the court, which less than 3 years ago reached a different outcome in a similar case from Alabama. An effort spurred by President Donald Trump to preserve the slim Republican majority in the House of Representatives already has led to a nationwide round of redistricting.
So again, here's some more BS. Okay, let me read you a little more about this. Out a landmark civil rights recently Supreme Court hollowed out a landmark civil rights era law that has increased minority representation in Congress and elsewhere, striking down a majority Black congressional district in Louisiana and opening the door for more redistricting across the country that could aid Republican efforts to control the House. In a 6-3 rule, and I just want to give you the specific names. So let me go ahead and see if I can show you those names while I explain them. But I'll actually give you I'll help you out even more. I'll give you an image of them, which is no shocker. Again, you have majority conservative leaning Supreme Court, thanks to Donald J. Trump. So here you go right there. John Roberts, Chief Justice. Brett Kavanaugh, Associate Justice. Amy Coney Barrett. Clarence Thomas. Can't get the other Supreme Court is that Gorsuch and Samuel Alito. All voted in favor. The court's conservative majority found the Louisiana district represented by Democrat Cleo Fields relied too heavily on the race. So Chief John Roberts had described the 6th congressional district as a snake that stretches more than 200 miles to links part of Shreveport, Alexandria, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. Now, that map is an unconstitutional gerrymandering. That's what Justice Alito wrote for the 6 conservatives. The effect of the ruling may be felt more strongly in 2028 because most deadlines for this year's congressional races have passed. Now, Louisiana, though, may have to change its redistricting plan to comply with the decision. Now, y'all, when this bill was signed, when he signed the bill, the main way to challenge racially discriminatory election practices into law more than 60 years ago, President Lyndon B. Johnson called it a triumph for freedom as huge as any victory on any battlefield. In her dissent for the 3 liberal Justice Elena Kagan wrote that the court's gutting of Section 2 puts the achievement in peril. Her sentiment was shared by former President Barack Obama, who said the decision showed how a majority of current court seems intent on abandoning its vital role in ensuring equal participation in our democracy. In a statement, Fields said the decision's practical effect is to make it far harder for minority communities to challenge redistricting maps that dilute their political voice. What a damn shame. Now, here's a few voices who spoke their frustration on this. Let me go ahead and share my good friend's comments. Amanda Nelson of Amanda's Mild Takes, she's a friend of the show, and we always love having her on. Here's what she had to say in regards to that recent story.
Knowing this was coming doesn't make it easier to stomach. Supreme Court has gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which was the remaining section of the Voting Rights Act that had any teeth. Elena Kagan read her dissent from the bench, which is something they only do when they are really pissed off. Voters in Louisiana had sued, saying that the gerrymandered maps in the state had robbed them of proportional representation they were entitled to under the Voting Rights Act because they were. The state drew an additional majority Black district, and then white voters sued, saying that that was actually a racial gerrymander. The conservative justices on the court agreed. Conservative justices on the court also insist that in this way, they are upholding the Voting Rights Act. by saying that race cannot be used as a factor in drawing districts. What this will mean in reality is that Black and Hispanic districts throughout the South will be drawn out of existence. Probably about 12, mostly in these states. It's too late to do that in most of these states before the midterms, except for in Florida and maybe Tennessee. But this will matter in 2028. John Roberts, who is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, has been working on this since the Reagan administration. When he got out of law school, he clerked for Rehnquist, and then he immediately started working in the DOJ of the Reagan administration in the Civil Rights Division, specifically to overturn Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Congress met in 1981 to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act. His job at the DOJ was to have them gutted as much as possible. I will also point out that a lot of the memos that he wrote to Congress during that time were written actually by the Heritage Foundation. 2013, as Chief Justice, he oversaw the Shelby versus Holder.
I want to pause that right there because there are other folks I want to share, but I mean, Amanda pretty much shared a good number of insight on how deep this really goes. I mean, it's disgusting. It truly is. It's a true shame. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a true shame. Next person I want to share with you is Senator Raphael Warnock out of Georgia. After hearing about this recent ruling, here's what he had to say.
Standing outside of the Supreme Court, where the folks in that building, the conservative Trump majority, just delivered a massive blow to the Voting Rights Act. They are literally trying to squeeze the voices of the people out of their democracy. The context for this happening is the Trump economy. These are the folks who have taken your money through these Trump tariffs. These are the folks who have taken your doctors, taken your health care, and now they're trying to take your voice so you won't be able to hold them accountable. And so in the wake of this massive assault on our democracy, the answer to that is more democracy. The answer to responding to folks who would take your voice is to raise your voices now more than ever. You got to send a clear message come November that this democracy does not belong to politicians who are trying to pick their voters. It belongs to the people.
So you heard that from Senator Raphael Warnock. Last one I want to share here is Sunny Hostin, host of The View, who I could take her or leave her. Sometimes she can get on my nerves, I'll be honest, but there's times where I'm like, okay, speak, sister, you're speaking some facts here. So she shared her thoughts on this recent ruling, and I mean, she went back to get personal about it.
I can tell you, as a Black woman, that my father was born in 1949. He remembers segregated schools. He remembers segregated water fountains. He remembers that he did not have full civil rights. And he told me when I turned 40 years old that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And he is still alive today, and I am still alive today, and I have been discriminated against. And now I have to tell my children that they have less civil rights than I did when I was born.
That's true.
That is disgusting, despicable, and I am devastated by this particular Supreme Court decision, even though, Whoopi, we did know this was coming. I can tell you.
And just look, just like Amanda had said. Amanda said we saw it coming. This is not a shocker. We saw this coming. The whole, we saw it coming. I mean, what else do you want to know? And I heard back, from Amanda's text there, Heritage Foundation, right? That's how Justice Roberts, how far he goes, back with all, like, it's just, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's unfortunate. Again, the fallout which would occur is that the voting rights law succeeded in opening the ballot box to Black Americans and reducing persistent discrimination in voting. Now, nearly 70 of the 435, man, Arrington talk. 70 of the 435 congressional districts are protected by Section 2. 70 out of the 435 congressional districts. Election law expert Nicholas Stephanopoulos has estimated Alito wrote that allowing race to play any part in government decision making represents a departure from the constitutional rule that applies in almost every other context. He said Section 2 is effectively limited in instances of intentional discrimination and a very high standard. Kagan said the upshot of the decision is that states can, without legal consequences, systematically dilute minority citizens' voting power. Do I need to explain any more? Do I need to explain any more? This is a complete and total victory for American people, American voters. This is coming from White House spokesperson Abigail Johnson. She says this is a complete and total victory for the American people. The color of one's skin should not dictate which congressional district you belong in. We commend the court for putting an end to the unconstitutional abuse of Voting Rights Act and protecting civil rights. I mean, I'm trying to hold my tongue because this is really, really serious, y'all. The chair of the Democratic Campaign Committee called the decision appalling. Representative Susan, I believe that's Delbean of Washington State, said it was the latest in a long line attack by President Donald Trump and conservative courts against the fundamental right of every American citizen to vote. Once again, y'all, this is why Democratic voters, and even myself, I'm not a Democrat, but I criticize the party because when they do have power, they don't know how to use it. They don't. And then when they don't have power, they want to try and use their authority, do this, do that, and they lose. And it's like, bruh, you had your chance, you had your time, and you didn't capitalize. So now you see somebody that has all the power, is capitalizing on it, and this stuff is getting done. It's crazy. We're going to talk a little more about this, y'all, but I'm running out of time, and I really do want to discuss this last story real quick because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Meghan McCain, conservative political commentator, daughter of the late John McCain, Arizona senator, Republican Arizona U.S. senator, John McCain, veteran, war hero, presidential nominee, that John McCain. So Megyn Kelly recently shared on her podcast, she called out her successor on her show, and here's what she had to say in regards to how she feels about Alyssa Farah Griffith. Let me go ahead and share you that clip real quick.
The idea that a woman could be pro-life is really beyond anyone at that show's comprehension. I mean, they can't even fathom that women like you and I exist. And that was a very difficult part of working there. So that, I'm sure, added into some of that. The other thing is, when I left The View, the executive producer said, I want you to help pick your predecessor, because not to humble brag too much, but the show's only won an Emmy twice in its history. One time was when I was there for Best Political Show. It had a huge rating success, and it was culturally relevant. That wasn't just me. There were other things going on in the world, but I'd like to think I played a factor in it because they don't have any of that now. I gave them a list of women that I thought would be great. Liz Wheeler was one of them, like real conservatives. Allie Beth Stuckey. I didn't know you at the time. I would have put you on the list, but I was like, you need someone who's a real one. I'm not talking about these fake people who once voted for President Bush in the early 2000s and now hate everything Republicans are. Well, that's what they glorify. And I'm going to say something that's a little nasty, but the person they replaced me with is a joke. She is no way representative of conservative women. It's been a wildly disappointing experience for me to see what legacy I helped do during the 4 years there while my dad battled brain cancer and I had not one but two miscarriages while I worked there. To see that kind of woman put up when they could have you on the show after you get in this fight, they could have you come in and show the women of America, all 16 of them that are still watching The View, but it does get clicks on social media. I don't understand why they wouldn't have booked you. It's such a deeply missed opportunity. Do you think it's just that you're obviously, extremely eloquent?
Okay, so right then and there, okay, she shared her frustration of why she shared her frustration of of the View, and that hey, the new conservative host is a joke and this and that and that and that. And even not just her, I mean, this is mainly talking about Meghan McCain, but even former ESPN host Sage Steele. Sage Steele even had some words to say. She said, can I just real quick be like really mean? She jumps to CNN and now to The View. She's an opportunist. That's what she is. She's an opportunist. To Sage Steele, please shut up. Okay, like when you talk, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. You're calling Alyssa Farah Griffith an opportunist because she's a Republican that decided to work at a liberal network, and that's on a liberal show. To me, it seems more she has a more guts than you, because see, you run away from shows like that. You go to your comfort zone. You go to Fox News. You go to Newsmax. You go to anywhere that is in your comfort zone, because when you get to sit with at least educated folks that is has opposing views of you run away from it. So please shut up. Now to Meghan McCain, like, hey, she has her platform. It's a popular platform. Is she has her own thing. Good for her. Blase blase blase. But I hate when folks define oh, you're not a true conservative, you're not this, you're not that. Again, no one's made you the conservative god. So and I'm looking at my time. Damn, I might have to extend this on to the next show. But Meghan is just a different conservative. So I will say Meghan and I believe Elizabeth Hasselbeck, they were their two strongest conservative in my opinion. Now, the reason why I say that they were really popular, because no one liked them. So they must have been doing their job as the conservative at the table. No one liked them. Meghan to me pouted a lot. I checked out a couple clips. She was a pouter. She was I mean, and make little side comments, and they were corny. She's corny. Now, Alyssa Farah Griffith, who's a Republican, she never left the party. She was a former staffer in the Trump administration. She was the House Director of Strategic Communications. So she was a staffer in the Trump administration first term. She just happened to be an anti-Trump Republican, but she's still very much a Republican. She is very much still a Republican. Now, because she's not a loud, obnoxious, argumentative person on the show, but she has, defended her views as a conservative. And, hey, look, her and Sonny have gone back and forth. But like I just think it's more on the lines of when you start talking about somebody like that, I think you're jealous. I think you're just jealous of like how the show has accepted her, how the audience has accepted her. They're like, hey, look, you make me feel comfortable to talk to other conservatives and Republicans, because look, they do exist. There's as good as it gets Republicans, and there's annoying Republicans. There's as good as it gets Democrats, and then there's annoying Democrats. Okay, there's folks that you can talk politics with, and there's folks that you just know you can't get an edge word out. They're gonna be blah, 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 and they can sit on somewhere. But I'm fortunate. I have a lot of friends. Where we all disagree. We all don't agree on the same thing, but we have those those tough conversations, and then we keep it moving from there. Y'all, I'm gonna have to extend this story on the next show because I'm looking at my time and I am running out of time, y'all. So until next time, my friends, as always, stay blessed, stay safe, stay informed. I'll be talking to you for another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.